Every man secretly yearns to die for something greater than himself. Some women too, probably. One last stand, or one final charge, making sure life had purpose, at least in the final moments. This game is mostly not about that, although it can be if you're slow. For the most part, you're gonna be fending for yourself, which is coincidentally also the male fantasy. Diplomacy, plunder, and combat are the three pillars necessary for surviving in this surprisingly welcoming universe. Star Control 2 is an absolutely fantastic gem with unmatched writing.
Jumping peppers!
For the time, anyway. Hey, why is the Earth glowing red? Hold on, I'm getting an urgent communication.
You are trespassing within Ur-Quan space. This world's Earth may not be approached for any reason.
Interesting. Probably nothing to worry about. Remember to bring enough radioactives for the rave. And don't try to leave the system before heading to the club. Otherwise, the fun police will run you over. Full speed ahead. Now, something you gotta realize. This game was released in 1992. On a system that doesn't exist as a concept anymore. So, the recording actually looks something like this. As you can see, the resolution is square, and cannot be faithfully put into our eye-shaped inferior aspect ratio. In a similar vein, part of the footage is done from a fan-made graphical overhaul, which will be randomly shown instead as a gesture of malice against the 3DO. Now that we've gotten our historical lesson from the guy consuming a cocktail of various non-alcoholic substances, we can leave without getting too much of a contact high. Check the Starship tab and remove the ion gun for free resources. There are absolutely no downsides to this. Here you can build new ships, refuel, recrew, and edit your flagship like it's GIMP. And just like GIMP, there's a lot of limitations and quirks. Notice how your flagship handled more like a flag covered in shit? Add extra turning thrusters. Need more fuel storage? Add more fuel tanks. Want a gun that hurts people? Yeah, sorry. Kill defenseless animals and sell their DNA to a data broker. While you're with the Google official, ask about the local happenings to potentially hear something you already knew. No refunds! Since we're out here, we should also plunder the natural resources of the local planets. I'm sure this will have absolutely no repercussions on future generations. Let me give you a tip. Anything below the dark blue tier is rarely worth the effort, unless there are no hazards on the planet. Every time you send your lander down to a planet, you use some of your precious fuel necessary to also return home. This means you end up losing resources instead of gaining them, because you decide to collect elemental hydrogen and literal piss. Gold, orange, and purple are where the real big money is. Sorry, did you think it'd be easy? Most planets will have some kind of hazard preventing you from plundering the entirety of their wealth. Lightning, which is unavoidable but doesn't hurt all that much, and earthquakes, which will destroy your lander in seconds but are completely avoidable. Fire is much the same as earthquakes. Some planets may also have aliens running around, which you're incentivized to kill for their biological data. You wipe entire species out of the universe to get a faster lander, which already moves pretty fast. Now that you've gotten the basics of plunder, you're ready to go out into the world and explore. Wait, what the fuck is that? It's time for combat. Remember, talk is cheap, and when you're dirt poor, shoot first and yell explicitives later. Combat in this game is exclusively done in a series of one-on-one engagements. It's a lot of fun once you get the hang of it. Crew is your health bar, and Bat is a resource for primary fire and secondary abilities. Every ship has unique stats like turning rate or maximum speed. You'll quickly find that some ships are destined to lose to certain other ships. Strategy as well as skill is vital to becoming a hardcore fleet captain. Killing ships awards you resource units, meaning going on the warpath can be a profitable venture. If you're having trouble fighting any ship, or just want to test them out, quit the game and head over to Super Melee! There's plenty of ships to choose from. Grug the Caveman, Guerrilla Warfare, Dark Souls players, XXX MLG Vegan Slayer XXX, Asshole. Every ship has some kind of counter, but truly skilled pilots are professionals who can handle any situation. Skill _ Issue. There's not much to say about combat. Just shoot until the bad man is dead. One last thing. If your flagship dies, you get unceremoniously booted back to the main menu, forcing you to reload a save. Eventually, you'll be able to upgrade your flagship into a death machine, but at the start, it's better served as paperweight. Yeah, alright, that's great, but why are we doing any of this? Oh yeah, we're supposed to be meeting friendly aliens and saving the galaxy. 20 years before now, humanity was in the Alliance of Free Stars, defending against the Ur-Quan hierarchy. The Ur-Quan, after conquering a species, gives them two options: become battle thralls and help the Ur-Quan subjugate other races, or be forever locked into their home planet under a slave shield. The war wasn't going well, so humanity sent a research expedition to the planet Unzervault in the Vela system, looking for artifacts from ancient aliens, known as the Precursors. They did find what they were looking for in the form of a giant factory for building starships, but lost contact with the rest of the Alliance. So after spending all the resources they have left, the colony leaves you in command of a mission to link back up with Earth and fight the Ur-Quan. Now, go forth and conquer. The sector is your space club, and you are the captain of a year-long fishing trip in frozen waters. Speak to every species, learn their stories, and probably end up stealing their shit. For example, you could go southward and talk to some hippie cockatiels, who give you free starships as well as a vital story item. Head east from there to insult a racially coded rodent who really wants to die, and end your trip by saying hi to your old allies that happen to be Scottish dinosaurs. All the while, things are happening around you. You could trick Twitter rhinos into warring against the Ur-Quan, then go investigate the Little Green Men conspiracy, leading you into the Little Green Dimension. Star Patrol 2 is kind of like a point-and-click adventure game, where random items get given to you, and you have to figure out why a rosy sphere is in your important items section. But unlike adventure games, there is gameplay. Also, a built-in hint system that makes up for all the random bullshit. Ah yes, of course. I needed to gather the 7 Dragon Balls and summon a Shenron in order to receive a Light Bright. Every species operates on their own internal logic that almost makes some sense to you. Take the Pakunk for example. These birds at first seem to be utter whack jobs and parodies of Western mystics, but if you're paying attention, you'll notice the things they're saying aren't wrong. For one, they just hand you a vital item for completing the game, having been given instructions by a spirit. Plenty of lines that seem nonsense are in fact portents of the future, only revealed as true after the event has already come to pass. Checking back with them every now and again will give vital information, just in a very roundabout manner. Despite this game being released in 1992, the sequel is finally being developed by the original creators thanks to a successful Kickstarter under the title Free Stars, Children of Infinity. Star Patrol 2 went open source a while ago and can be played for free on Windows and Mac, and on Linux with a little bit of elbow grease. You might also try out the HD mod, which remains mostly faithful to the original style while undergoing a few changes. Section G. Sound design. It's good. If you are at all interested, I'd highly recommend playing it. The game's a classic for a reason. I'll have links in the description for where to get everything. Without spoiling anything, the story's got a lot of moving parts and backstory, and even the monsters are given a surprising amount of depth and consideration. Also, just as a heads up, there is a time limit. You have been warned. With that out of the way, let's get into the spoiler section. If you don't want to hear any, click here. So you meet up with all the other aliens, old allies and enemies, as well as some new faces. You've got the 4chan spider, the Reddit blobs, and the iFunny centipede. You keep hearing new goings-on from the commander every time you return to refuel and upgrade, but don't seem to be getting anywhere, until you finally meet the real antagonist of this game, the Ur-Quan Kohr-Ah. The Ur-Quan were split into 2 races by their former masters, the psychically gifted Dinyari. The green ones, called the Ur-Quan Kazertsa, reacted to their enslavement by trying to enslave every other species in the galaxy. The Kohr-Ah decided the only course of action was total xenodeath. The 2 are currently, as of this video, fighting to figure out which one is better, in the second doctrinal conflict. Eventually, you find them. The Kohr-Ah. That menacing centipede creature hovering over a pile of bones. Each from a unique species this captain personally exterminated. The background music, normally energetic, charged, and dominant for their cousins, is instead barely existent, sounding more like ambient noises. There's a rhythmic dripping noise, along with an occasional sound like running water, as if they're metaphorically washing their hands of all atrocities, or draining away a river of blood. If you sleuth around, you'll find a magical set of words that force them to explain their thought process and reason for going full Stellaris on the galaxy. After being enslaved and having their genes edited by the Dinyari for over 2.5 thousand years, one Ur-Quan figured out how to break free by causing immense amounts of pain to himself, which forces the controlling Dinyari to release them. Since the Dinyari are basically physically stunted frogs, the Ur-Quan quickly developed other means of preventing control, such as the Excruciator, which causes the Ur-Quan immense pain but causes no physical damage, using these devices for years on end. Since torturing yourself for entire years does wonders for your mental health, the Ur-Quan turned out completely normal and well-adjusted. The Kohr-Ah formulated the path of now and forever, and the Kohr-Ah created the Eternal Doctrine, with both of them collectively deciding to lobotomize the Dinyari to be used as translators. The story of the other races admittedly isn't as well developed as the Ur-Quans, but they don't need to be. Most of them have at least something unique to make up for their lack of development, and the Ur-Quan pull their weight more than enough by themselves. The center of the map is almost completely taken up by the two Ur-Quan species in their war. If you want to plunder anything here, you'll most definitely run into them, and should probably leave before getting into any trouble. Their war also isn't a static conflict. Eventually, the Kohr-Ah will win if you don't finish the game, in about 3 years. You can slow them down in a few ways, however. The Thraddash, as well as the Supox and Utwig, can be set against the Kohr-Ah to buy you about 2 years more time at most. But nothing can stop them, besides finishing the main story. To do that, you'll have to complete an entire laundry list of tasks, ultimately building up to 3 different results. Obtaining a planeteering device, system-killing bomb, recruiting a Dinyari, and freeing the Chmmr from their enslavement. With their help, you strap the bomb to your ship and get it enhanced even further, and head out to quit the greatest act of international terrorism ever seen in the galaxy. Where are you headed? Towards the Samatra, the precursor weapon responsible for the Ur-Quan dominance over every other species in this sector. Its destruction is ordained by every deity, and you are the Holy Thunder, your flagship, the Divine Retribution. After the final explosion, reality sets in, and you've been on a Xanax binge for the past 3 years. The doctors say the damage to your brain will never recover. But hey, you've got a cool alien waifu now, and an even cooler alien spaceship. That's what this game is about. Not one glorious struggle, or a conflict of ideologies, or anything so grand. Picking the pieces back up after a great catastrophe, after everything shatters and the future is more uncertain than ever. The Ur-Quan never moved on from the past and are forever haunted by the ghosts of the Dinyari. Star Control 2, now known as Freestar's The Ur-Quan Masters, is an absolute gem of a game, with writing I've yet to see anyone replicate since. It's inspired so many series, some you both definitely played, including Fallout, Arcanum, Stellaris, and Mass Effect. I'd highly recommend starting it before the sequel comes around, at least to see some of the influence this wonderful game has had on the industry. Thankfully, playing Ur-Quan Masters is easy, unlike most older games. The community has done an incredible job in keeping it alive with updates every now and again, ensuring the game will stay playable for the foreseeable future. And if you are willing to go that route, Freestar's The Ur-Quan Masters is completely free and playable on the Steam store. One last thing. I have to be completely honest with you. This footage wasn't collected organically over a new playthrough. I just loaded my old saves and went to random places. Why? Because I'm going to be streaming it on YouTube and Twitch sometime in the near future, and I want to remember as little as possible about the details. Look out for it. It'll happen sometime before Children of Infinity releases, so sometime in the next 4 or 5 months.